Madonna Louise Ciccone, born August 16, 1958, is an American singer-songwriter and actress. She is one of the most influential figures in popular culture and has often been referred to as the Queen of Pop. Madonna is noted for her continual reinvention and versatility in music production, songwriting, and visual presentation. She is also known for pushing the boundaries of artistic expression in mainstream music, while maintaining control over every aspect of her career. Her works, which incorporate social, political, sexual, and religious themes, have generated both controversy and critical acclaim. Madonna moved to New York City in 1978 to pursue a career in modern dance. After performing as a drummer, guitarist, and vocalist in the rock bands Breakfast Club and Emmy, she rose to solo stardom with her debut studio album, Madonna, 1983. She followed it with a series of successful albums, including all-time bestsellers like A Virgin, 1984, True Blue, 1986, and The Immaculate Collection, 1990, as well as Grammy Award winners Ray of Light, 1998, and Confessions on a Dance Floor, 2005. Madonna has amassed many number one singles throughout her career, including Like a Virgin, La Isla Bonita, Like a Prayer, Vogue, Take a Bow, Frozen, Music, Hung Up, and 4 Minutes. Madonna's popularity was enhanced by roles in films such as Desperately Seeking Susan, 1985, Dick Tracy, 1990, A League of Their Own, 1992, and Evita, 1996. While Evita won her a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, many of her other films received poor reviews. As a businesswoman, Madonna founded the company Maverick in 1992. It included Maverick Records, one of the most successful artist-run labels in history. Her other ventures include fashion brands, children's books, health clubs, and filmmaking. She contributes to various charities, having founded the Ray of Light Foundation in 1998 and Raising Malawi in 2006. With sales of over 300 million records worldwide, Madonna is noted as the best-selling female recording artist of all time by Guinness World Records. She is the most successful solo artist in the history of the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart and holds the record for the most number one singles by a female artist in Australia, Canada, Italy, Spain, and the United Kingdom, with a revenue of US $1.5 billion from her concert tickets. She remains the highest-grossing solo touring artist of all time. Madonna was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2008. Her first year of eligibility, she was ranked as the greatest woman in music by VH1, and as the greatest music video artist of all time by MTV and Billboard. Rolling Stone also listed Madonna among the 100 greatest artists of all time and the 100 greatest songwriters of all time. Madonna Louise Ciccone was born on August 16, 1958, in Bay City, Michigan, to Catholic parents Madonna Louise, née Forden, and Silvio Anthony, Tony, Ciccone. Her father's parents were Italian immigrants from Picentro while her mother was of French-Canadian descent. Tony Ciccone worked as an engineer-designer for Chrysler and General Motors. Since Madonna had the same name as her mother, family members called her Little Nani. She later adopted Veronica as a confirmation name when she was confirmed in the Catholic Church in 1966. Madonna was raised in the Detroit suburbs of Pontiac and Avon Township, now Rochester Hills, alongside her two older brothers, Anthony and Martin, and three younger siblings, Paula, Christopher, and Melanie. In 1979, Madonna became romantically involved with musician Dan Gilroy. Shortly after meeting him, she successfully auditioned to perform in Paris with French disco artist Patrick Hernandez as his backup singer and dancer, during her 3 months with Hernandez's troupe. She also traveled to Tunisia before returning to New York in August 1979. Madonna moved into an abandoned synagogue where Gilroy lived and rehearsed in Corona. Queens. Together they formed her first band, The Breakfast Club, for which Madonna sang and played drums and guitar. While with the band, Madonna briefly worked as a coat check girl at the Russian Tea Room. And she made her acting debut in the low-budget indie film A Certain Sacrifice, which wasn't released until 1985. In 1980, Madonna left the Breakfast Club with drummer Stephen Bray, who was her boyfriend in Michigan. And they formed the band Emmy and the Emmys. They rekindled their romance and moved into the music building in Manhattan. The two began writing songs together and they recorded a 4-song demo tape in November 1980. But soon after, Madonna decided to promote herself as a solo artist. In June 1986, Madonna released her third studio album, True Blue, which was inspired by and dedicated to her husband Penn. Rolling Stone was impressed with the effort, writing that the album sounds as if it comes from the heart. 5 singles were released: Live to Tell, Papa Don't Preach, True Blue, Open Your Heart, and La Isla Bonita, all of which reached number 1 in the US or the UK. The album topped the charts in 28 countries worldwide, an unprecedented achievement at the time, and remains Madonna's best-selling studio album. With sales of 25 million copies, True Blue was featured in the 1992 edition of Guinness World Records as the best-selling album by a woman of all time. In 1992, Madonna starred in A League of Their Own as May Mordebito, a baseball player on an all-women's team. It reached number 1 on the box office and became the 10th highest-grossing film of the year in the US. She recorded the film's theme song, This Used to Be My Playground, which became her 10th Hot 100 number 1 hit, the most by any female artist at the time. The same year, Madonna sponsored the first retrospective for her former boyfriend Jean-Michel Basquiat at the Whitney Museum of American Art. She also founded her own entertainment company, Maverick, consisting of a record company, Maverick Records, a film production company, Maverick Films, and associated music publishing, television broadcasting, book publishing and merchandising divisions. The deal was a joint venture with Time Warner and paid Madonna an advance of $60 million. It gave her 20% royalties from the music proceedings, the highest rate in the industry at the time, equaled only by Michael Jackson's royalty rate established a year earlier with Sony. Her company later went on to become one of the most successful artist-run labels in history, producing multi-platinum artists such as Alanis Morissette and Michelle Branch. After Lourdes' birth, Madonna became involved in Eastern mysticism and Kabbalah, introduced to her by actress Sandra Bernhard. Her 7th studio album, Ray of Light, 1998, reflected this change in her perception and image. She collaborated with electronica producer William Orbit and wanted to create a sound that could blend dance music with pop and British rock. American music critic Ann Powers explained that what Madonna searched for with Orbit was a kind of a lushness that she wanted for this record. Techno and rave were happening in the 90s and had a lot of different forms. There was very experimental, more hard stuff like Aphex Twin. There was party stuff like Fatboy Slim. That's not what Madonna wanted for this. She wanted something more like a singer-songwriter. Really. And William Orbit provided her with that. In 2003, Madonna collaborated with fashion photographer Stephen Klein for an exhibition installation named X Static Pro = Ses, which ran from March to May in New York's Deitch Projects Gallery and also traveled the world in an edited form. The same year, Madonna released her 9th studio album, American Life, which was based on her observations of American society. She explained that the record was like a trip down memory lane, looking back at everything I've accomplished and all the things I once valued and all the things that were important to me. Larry Flick from The Advocate felt that American Life is an album that is among her most adventurous and lyrically intelligent, while condemning it as a lazy, half-arsed effort to sound and take her seriously. The original music video of its title track caused controversy due to its violence and anti-war imagery, and was withdrawn after the 2003 invasion of Iraq started. Madonna voluntarily censored herself for the first time in her career due to the political climate of the country, saying that, "There was a lynch mob mentality that was going on that wasn't pretty and I have children to protect." The song stalled at number 37 on the Hot 100, while the album became her lowest-selling album at that point with 4 million copies worldwide. Madonna released and performed the song, "Hey You," at the London Live Earth concert in July 2007. She announced her departure from Warner Brothers Records and declared a new $120 million, 10-year $360 deal with Live Nation. In 2008, Madonna produced and wrote I Am Because We Are, a documentary on the problems faced by Malawian. It was directed by Nathan Risman, who worked as Madonna's gardener. She also directed her first film, Filth and Wisdom. The plot of the film revolved around three friends and their aspirations. The Times said she had done herself proud, while the Daily Telegraph described the film as not an entirely unpromising first effort, but Madonna would do well to hang on to her day job. On March 10, 2008, Madonna was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in her first year of eligibility. She did not sing at the ceremony but asked fellow Hall of Fame inductees and Michigan natives the Stooges to perform her songs, "Burning Up" and "Ray of Light." In February 2012, Madonna headlined the Super Bowl 46 halftime show at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. Her performance was visualized by Cirque du Soleil and Jamie King and featured special guests LMFAO, Nicki Minaj, MIA, and CeeLo Green. It became the then most watched Super Bowl halftime show in history with 114 million viewers, higher than the game itself. During the event, she performed "Give Me All Your Lovin'," the lead single from her 12th studio album, MDNA. It became her record-extending 38th top 10 single on the Billboard Hot 100. While living in Lisbon, Madonna met Dino De Santiago, who introduced her to many local musicians playing fado, morna, and samba music. They regularly invited her to their living room sessions. Thus she was inspired to make her 14th studio album, Madam X. Madonna produced the album with several musicians, primarily her longtime collaborator Merway and Mike Dean. The album was critically well received, with NME deeming it bold, bizarre, self-referential and unlike anything Madonna has ever done before. Released in June 2019, Madam X debuted atop the Billboard 200, becoming her 9th number 1 album there. All 4 of its singles, Medellin, Crave, I Rise, and I Don't Search I Find, topped the Billboard Dance Club Songs chart, extending her record for most number 1 entries on the chart. Madonna and Missy Elliott provided guest vocals on Dua Lipa's single, Levitating, from Lipa's 2020 remix album Club Future Nostalgia. In August 2020, Madonna posted a video on her Instagram where she discusses ideas for a script with writer Diablo Cody. In September 2020, she confirmed on an Instagram livestream they were writing a film about her life, to be produced by Amy Pascal. In June 2021, Madonna brought screenwriter Aaron Wilson on board to help with the script. Madonna will release Madam X, a documentary film chronicling the tour of the same name, on Paramount Plus in October 2021, on her 63rd birthday. She officially announced her return to Warner in a global partnership which grants the label her entire recorded music catalog, including the last 3 Interscope albums, which are ultimately controlled by Madonna's company Boy Toy Inc. and were only licensed to Interscope through Live Nation. Under the contract, Madonna will launch a series of catalog reissues beginning in 2022, to commemorate the 40th anniversary of her recording career. According to Tara Borelli, The death of her mother had the most influence in shaping Madonna into the woman she would become. He believed that the devastation and abandonment Madonna felt at the loss of her mother taught her a valuable lesson. That she would have to remain strong for herself because she feared weakness, particularly her own. Author Lucy O'Brien opines that the impact of the sexual assault Madonna suffered in her young adult years was the motivating factor behind everything she has done. More important than the death of her mother, it's not so much grief at her mother's death that drives her, as the sense of abandonment that left her unprotected. She encountered her own worst possible scenario, becoming a victim of male violence, and thereafter turned that full tilt into her work, reversing the equation at every opportunity. Madonna said that the first song to ever make a strong impression on her was These Boots Are Made for Walkin' by Nancy Sinatra. She said it summed up her own take charge attitude as a young woman. She attempted to broaden her taste in literature, art, and music, and during this time became interested in classical music. She noted that her favorite style was Baroque, and loved Mozart and Chopin because she liked their feminine quality. Madonna's major influences include Debbie Harry, Chrissie Hynde, Karen Carpenter, The Supremes and Led Zeppelin, as well as dancers Martha Graham and Rudolf Nureyev. She also grew up listening to David Bowie, whose show was the first rock concert she ever attended. During her childhood, Madonna was inspired by actors, later saying, "I loved Carole Lombard and Judy Holliday and Marilyn Monroe. They were all incredibly funny. And I saw myself in them, my girlishness, my knowingness and my innocence." Her Material Girl music video recreated Monroe's look in the song, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, from the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953. She studied the screwball comedies of the 1930s, particularly those of Lombard, in preparation for the film Who's That Girl? The video for Express Yourself, 1989, was inspired by Fritz Lang's silent film Metropolis, 1927. The video for Vogue recreated the style of Hollywood glamour photographs, in particular those by Horst P. Horst, and imitated the poses of Marlene Dietrich, Carole Lombard, and Rita Hayworth, while the lyrics referred to many of the stars who had inspired her, including Betty Davis, described by Madonna as an idol. Madonna's music has been the subject of much analysis and scrutiny. Robert M. Grant, author of Contemporary Strategy Analysis, 2005, commented that Madonna's musical career has been a continuous experimentation with new musical ideas and new images and a constant quest for new heights of fame and acclaim. Thomas Harrison in the book Pop Goes the Decade, the 80s deemed Madonna an artist who pushed the boundaries of what a female singer could do, both visually and lyrically. Professor Santiago Fuz Hernandez asserted, while not gifted with an especially powerful or wide-ranging voice, Madonna has worked to expand her artistic palette to encompass diverse musical, textual and visual styles and various vocal guises, all with the intention of presenting herself as a mature musician. Madonna's early songwriting skill was developed during her time with the Breakfast Club in 1979. She subsequently became the sole writer of 5 songs on her debut album, including Lucky Star, which she composed on synthesizer. As a songwriter, Madonna has registered more than 300 tracks to ASCAP, including 18 songs written entirely by herself. Rolling Stone has named her an exemplary songwriter with a gift for hooks and indelible lyrics, despite having worked with producers across many genres. The magazine noted that Madonna's compositions have been consistently stamped with her own sensibility and inflected with autobiographical detail. Patrick Leonard, who co-wrote many of her hit songs, called Madonna a hell of a songwriter, explaining her sensibility about melodic line, from the beginning of the verse to the end of the verse and how the verse and the chorus influence each other, is very deep. Many times she's singing notes that no one would have thought of but her. Barry Walters from Spin credited her songwriting as the reason of her musical consistency. Madonna has been nominated for being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame 3 times. In 2015, Rolling Stone ranked Madonna at number 56 on the 100 Greatest Songwriters of All Time list. Madonna's initial music videos reflected her American and Hispanic mixed street style combined with a flamboyant glamour. She was able to transmit her avant-garde downtown New York fashion sense to the American audience. The imagery and incorporation of Hispanic culture and Catholic symbolism continued with the music videos from the True Blue era. Author Douglas Kellner noted, "Such multiculturalism and her culturally transgressive moves turned out to be highly successful moves that endeared her to large and varied youth audiences." Madonna's Spanish look in the videos became the fashion trend of that time, in the form of boleros and layered skirts. Accessorizing with rosary beads and a crucifix as in the video of La Isla Bonita, academics noted that with her videos, Madonna was subtly reversing the usual role of male as the dominant sex. This symbolism and imagery was probably the most prevalent in the music video for Like a Prayer. The video included scenes of an African American church choir, Madonna being attracted to a black saint statue, and singing in front of burning crosses. Chris Nelson from the New York Times commented that artists like Madonna and Janet Jackson set new standards for showmanship, with concerts that included not only elaborate costumes and precision-timed pyrotechnics but also highly athletic dancing. These effects came at the expense of live singing. Thor Christensen of the Dallas Morning News commented that while Madonna earned a reputation for lip-syncing during her 1990 Blonde Ambition World Tour, she has subsequently reorganized her performances by staying mostly still during her toughest singing parts and leaves the dance routines to her backup troupe rather than try to croon and dance up a storm at the same time, to allow for greater movement while dancing and singing. Madonna was one of the earliest adopters of hands-free radio frequency headset microphones, with the headset fastened over the ears or the top of the head, and the microphone capsule on a boom arm that extended to the mouth. Because of her prominent usage, the microphone design came to be known as the Madonna mic.